Hello and welcome to the post-production show. I am your host Tyler Callahan, and this is a show where I will talk about movies that I watched, movies that came out, box office numbers, and anything that happens in Hollywood. Today's show, the topics are Now You See Me, Now You See Me 2. I will be going over both, what I thought about them, and box office numbers for the weekend. So the first topic for today's show is I'll be going over Now You See Me 1. Starring Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, Mark Ruffalo, Elijah Fisher, Dave Franco, Michael Caine, and Morgan Freeman. Came out a couple years ago. It came out May 2013. It's a show about magicians and magic. The Four Horsemen basically do these stunts or heists, magic tricks, whatever. And, the FBI, the FBI agent Mark Ruffalo has got to try and catch them. It's kind of like a cat and mouse game throughout the movie. Overall, I thought it was okay. It's not a bad movie. I know there are quite a few people that didn't like it, especially toward the ending. I didn't think it was that bad, but wasn't great either. It's a definitely middle of the road film. The cast is great. No one really feels like they're just phoning it in, so that's nice. The plot is kinda not there. I mean, there are twists and turns and stuff, but overall basic plot there is. So it's nothing special. It's like the Four Horsemen do something, and then the FBI's got to try and catch them, and then it's just back and forth. There are some twists and stuff. I'm not going to say anything about that. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who's watching this and hasn't seen the movie yet, but that's overall the main plot. I don't know if it was this one or in the second movie, but there was one effect, really bad CGI effect that was really noticeable, where there was an explosion and the fire effect for it was really, really bad. I guess my main problem with the film is character development, in that the Four Horsemen are not the main characters. They don't get any character development at all, and they are a literal plot device. They are a literal plot device that just moves everything forward. Because really the only time you see them is when they do their stunt, their magic trick, heist, whatever. And then that's about it. Then they fade away into the background for Morgan Freeman and Mark Ruffalo to go back and forth and try and catch them. Morgan Freeman trying to prove how they did it and prove them as frauds, because that's what his character is. He's a former magician that tries to expose other magicians. And, Mark Ruffalo's the FBI agent. It's he's got to lead this task force to try and stop him. But, the Four Horsemen is, you don't really see... you do see them in quite a bit in the movie. And when they're on, it's great. Watching them perform the stunts and stuff, even though it's just a movie, you're not at a real magic show. The way they present it and the way they do it makes you excited for it, even though you're not at a magic show. You're not watching them perform live. So that is really good, but... after that, they just kind of disappear for a bit. They plan their next move. And you rarely see them. So that's my main problem with the film. Besides that, acting's pretty good. Story's alright. Don't really have any other problems with it. I would say a 6 out of 10 for the movie. And I would say it's worth a watch. Or maybe buying it on Blu-ray if it's on sale. Maybe $7, $8. I wouldn't pay full price for it. So yeah, that is my thoughts and I guess review on Now You See Me 1. And coming up, I will be talking about Now You See Me 2. So now on to Now You See Me 2, which came out a lot more recently, came out last month. Stars basically the main cast from last time, except Elijah Fisher didn't return, and Lizzie Chaplin replaces her, playing as Lola. To replace her in the Four Horsemen spot. But besides that, basically same cast, and also includes Daniel Radcliffe, who plays the main bad guy of the film. I thought it was pretty interesting that Daniel Radcliffe plays a guy who uses science, logic and reason, to get what he wants, which is pretty funny considering he was Harry Potter, all wizard magic and all that. It was just a nice, funny thing to see how in this movie he uses science to get what he wants, stuff like that. Doesn't really believe in magic, and everything can be explained. So in this one, the Four Horsemen have, after the end of the first movie, they've been in hiding for a bit, and then they are now brought back to do another to prove someone else. I wouldn't say, no, not prove someone else, but the Four Horsemen have been called after, waiting, and hiding stuff to expose someone. So they come out and, they do a show and stuff like that to expose someone. But, Daniel Radcliffe interrupts them basically and kidnaps them and forces them to steal something for him. So that's basically the thing in the movie. Like, they have to try and steal this now. And then they're still on the run from the FBI. So the FBI is trying to get them. So like the first one, there are multiple parties working. You have the Four Horsemen trying to do their thing. You have the FBI trying to do their thing. And then you have, a bunch of different groups. Overall, I thought this one was better, was more well produced than the first one. I did check that I think they raised the budget by like 15-20 million. And it definitely does show, a little bit more better effects. I feel better cinematography. So the production of this one is definitely a bit better than the first one, which is nice. Acting like the first one, no one feels like they're shooing it in, phoning it in, not shooting it in. My main issue of the first one is kind of fixed in the second one, in that there is some character development of the Four Horsemen. Like, there's a little bit of a plot. Like, they grow a little bit as a character. They grow a bit as a character in this one, unlike the first one, where they were just a literal plot device. So that is nice to see. You actually see more of the Four Horsemen. They don't just do their act and then disappear for most of a good chunk of the film. Like, if you see the first one, they do a stunt, they're gone for like 20 minutes at a time. But this one, no, you see it through their eyes now. You see the Four Horsemen through their eyes. What happens around them as they plan to try and steal the thing and all that. I guess my main problem with the film is that my main problem with this film, though, is that it doesn't really make you care that much. They do try to make you care about the characters and what's happening, but I didn't feel that invested in it. Like, if one of them just, fell off and, just disappeared for the rest of the movie, I'd be like, okay, whatever. But the main thing that bugged me is Woody Harrelson's twin brother, who I believe is named Chase. I think his name, the guy who plays in movies, Chase. Though I'm not sure. All I know is that I wanted to punch him in the face. Or just someone to do it. Because every time he showed up, it was like, really? We're going to do another scene with this guy? It's like, the guy acted like an asshole, a dick. And no one tried to stop him. So, it was fine at first. But then, he kept showing up. And it's like, please, just go away, dude. To the point where I was disappointed every time he got on. I was like, great, he's back. So that's my main problem with the film. I do feel it's a bit better than the first one. I'd say 6.5 out of 10, and it's worth a watch, or, like the first one, buying it on Blu-ray or DVD on sale. So that's about it for my rambling / review of Now You See Me 2. Overall, as a franchise, they're both okay to decent movies. Lionsgate is planning to make a third one. If they do, I'll probably watch it. I don't mind watching them. They're just nothing great, really, but they're not bad movies. They're a good time waster. So coming up is the box office numbers for the previous weekend. And for the final topic of today's show, I will be going over the weekend box office numbers. Debuting at first place, The Secret Life of Pets came in at $104.3 million. Now the current record holder of the biggest opening weekend for an original animated movie. The Legend of Tarzan came in at second place with $21 million, and the domestic gross right now in the U.S. is $81 million total. Finding Dory ended its reign at first place for about 3 weeks, coming in now at third place with $20.8 million, with a total of $423 million domestic, and is now the highest grossing movie in the U.S. this year. Fourth place, Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates, also debuted this weekend, came in at $16.6 million. And The Purge election year came in at $12.3 million, with a domestic total so far of $58.7 million. And that's about it for the show. If you listened to this far, thank you. I know it's a bit rough. I'm going to try and get better every single time. There's no set date for the episodes. I do plan to have one more or less weekly. So expect the second episode to be out sometime next week. Thank you for listening. I'm your host, Tyler Callahan, and have a good day.